What's up, squad? Back with another video. Y'all seeing the titles going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Definitely want to say right here that this is a post by Edward. Pause it. This is a message from Warren Jacks and Morgan. It says on this special day, August 19th, just like every day, we honor and remember our dear friend Nolan Wells. He was the brightest of lights who touched many lives, including ours. His memory will shine on in our hearts. Always. One thing that I've, seen, when it's coming from, Warren Jackson Morgan, seeing the interviews, seeing the things that's going on, I truly see that, being real, about, this situation. I see something is, I don't, things have been, raising a lot of flags, within, this case, with Nolan's obviously parents, his stepfather, his stepmom, within this phone situation, which we'll talk about, I'm sure today. You have so many people that's pointing the finger only to these three. I find a lot of it insane. We've seen the text message, we've seen things that's going on. I don't know. You got it right here. It says Nolan Wells' family is ready to have his phone examined, but their attorney says that they're still waiting on Jackson County District Attorney Office to set a date. You have it right here, and this is Attorney Liza Park. This is Attorney Liza Park, a member of Ben Crump's team, says the DA's office, the family's forensic experts, and possibly the FBI have agreed to jointly download and examine the device. So now they're going, and they're saying that this is something that they're about to do with examining the device. Me personally, I find it, I don't know. Just it's you got over a month. We're now seeing, there's text between, Christine as well as Warren, throughout the days of what's going on. And it raises questions. It raises a lot of questions of what truly is on Nolan's phone. Is it actually something that could potentially be something, or is it nothing? But why hold it this long, seeing how this could potentially help? It maybe can help. You never know. You have right here, this is the text that I was talking about. This is Brandon Tatum. New private text reveals Nolan Wells' mother was in direct contact with Warren Hudson, Nolan Wells' best friend ever since Nolan was declared missing, and he was willingly and openly providing her information. You have right here, and like I said, and Officer Tatum, put that credit to Sarah Fields. I always want to say that because one thing about me is that I truly not try to take away, who actually posted what. So I truly, want to go in with that. You got it right here as well. It says new text revealed Nolan Wells' mother had direct, friendly contact with Warren Hudson from that day, from day one of the search. Now, I say this because it's said that Christine as well as his stepfather don't know of, these those young men, Warren Jacks and how do I keep on forgetting Warren Jackson Morgan. Keep on saying that this is, they don't know who this is, this, that, and the other. And I find it pretty wild. I truly find it pretty wild because after seeing the conversation and seeing what's truly going on, you obviously could see within this conversation that they know possibly who this is. You know what I mean? So these text messages prove that Warren cared deeply about Nolan and show how completely they're fake the media narrative really is. And it truly does show that, and y'all need to see that. You got it right here. Says, and I want to play this video as well right here, so I'm not, skipping through because I can't wait to show, what else I have. But it's very odd to me. Check it out.
Just so you guys know, Warren initiated this phone call and communication with Christine Wells. He called her the night that Nolan did not come back like they expected. He asked her, is it okay if I call the Coast Guard? They had a short communication, and he calls the Coast Guard. He told me in the interview that we interviewed him on that he told Miss Christine that he had Nolan's phone and keys. That's what he said he told her. Now, if you done kill somebody, 9 times out of 10, you ain't talking to their mama. But listen how the conversation went, though. I'll read them to you. Warren, where's his car? I think, what is this, on the 4th? This is on the 4th at let me look over here because at 11:15 p.m. Warren, where's his car? At Jax's house. Where is that? Can you send me the address where you guys launched? Yes, ma'am. He goes on to send her the address.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last time you saw him? He said 3 p.m. and sent her to actual location. That don't seem like somebody that's trying to obstruct or hide something. What happens next? What was he wearing? Black shorts and sunglasses. Now, in the interview, he told me that he thought they were black. We see now that it's blue. He said he thought it was black shorts. Can you call, I guess that's the lady at DMR. He says, on the phone with Coast Guard now. I will after, yes, ma'am. They're communicating.
Mm-hmm.
If she had a question or a concern or what, she could text it to him right here. He's responding to her, yes, ma'am. Can you call DMR? Yes, ma'am, I will. I'm on the phone with the Coast Guard right now. On the phone with the Coast Guard doing what? Trying to coordinate them to look for his friend Nolan.
That's it.
She don't say, she's not, this doesn't sound like, this some random kid. She says, thank you so much. We have to file a missing person report.
I ain't even gonna lie. I would have been like, you know what? Since you're on the phone with the Coast Guard, do me a favor. And this how my parents did. Do me a favor and add me to that call. Put us on three-way so I know what's going on. So this, that, and the other. And we gon' cause we need to figure this out. I need to find my son. It's stuff like that. That's why I find a lot of this odd.
So one more time, tell me exactly where you saw him last. I'm so sorry. I am asking you to repeat this. It does not seem like she got a problem with him. He says, no problem. 3 p.m., west tip, north side of Horn Island. Where did you guys lunch from? He sent her another ping of where they lunched from. Told her exactly where he saw Nolan and what time. Okay. He said, we launched the boats yesterday evening and left from here this morning. Does this sound like a kid that trying to cover up a murder? Giving her exactly where you lunch from? Giving her your exact locations? Here we go again. It says Nolan's dad is at the house to pick up the keys. Warren, it said Jax's house, not Warren's house. But she told him Nolan's dad is at the house to pick up the keys. Hey, Warren, what kind of sunglasses was Nolan wearing yesterday? I'm pretty sure Ray-Bans, Miss Christine. Then he goes on to say, hey, Miss Christine, just wanted to check in. We went out this morning to look, and I've been on and off the phone with Jackson County Sheriff's Office today. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out.
I'm telling y'all right now, I truly find it odd because y'all gotta think like I'm not trying to I'm not trying to make it seem bad, point figures, anything like that, but I truly find it a little odd how we have certain questions that Nolan's mom and stepfather haven't really asked, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to, be mean and be a certain type of way, but I just feel like, just like this, when I say, you're on the phone with the Coast Guard, why is it certain things that they didn't do, but then they rather point fingers? And I feel like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton play a big part of this. They truly play a big part of this, and I find it absolutely insane of what they're doing and how they're doing it. I truly find it insane. I find it a little bit crazy of what they're doing. I'm not going to lie. It's more so, like I've said before, are they trying to keep it up? Is it something that's covered up, within that phone since it's not turned in? Or is it the fame? Is it the money? Is it the net? Like, what is it? Because I truly find a lot of it odd. You have right here, there's a post by Adam Scott said, Nolan Wells' phone is becoming more and more useless by the day. Why is the family demanding the phone being physically image today? Here's just a small portion of what a full device image of Wells' phone can tell law enforcement and family about many circumstances surrounding, his passing. Now, let me tell y'all something. I think personally, me personally, on how I think, what I feel truly, is that, and me being 100, I truly feel as if I'm not going to say that and going, useless and this, that, and the other. I'm not going to go that way. We don't know what's on the phone. But I feel like it might be something, seeing how it's taken over a month and a half, and the phone still ain't. I ain't seen nothing. I haven't seen anything. Hopefully it does come out to where they get this together. They talking about they got to set a date. They got to do this over a month. Check it out.
Histories. So iPhone specifically, we have a database that keeps track of who was our most recent contacts. So even if we were to delete a message or delete a call entry, there are areas within the operating system that keep track of that data regardless of what the user does with the information. So they may delete it so you can't see the text message anymore, but those notifications can still be present and located.
Do you know about with Snapchat? Because I guess that, their whole thing is that it's a snap and then it goes away. If there were snaps that may tell more of the story of what happened here, could those be found?
Physically on the device, yes. We have had success in the past. And over the years, from my time in law enforcement to now working in the private sector, we've gone through time periods of Snapchat having that data, Snapchat not having that data, the phone having it, the phone not having it. So there's no way to tell definitively, but that initial preservation of the device has to occur. And that gives us the best opportunity to try to.
Histories.
So you have it right there.
So iPhone
one thing about it is that
we have a database that keeps track of who was our.
Things could possibly be found. So again, yeah. Okay, so now looking at this, seeing truly things, that's been going on, this, that, and the other. You have right here, and I know y'all remember, as Christine has had people that obviously put things on review, saying that, they wouldn't recommend her, and they're calling this more so a threat, this, that, and the other. And me personally, I truly don't feel that way. I don't feel that way because of what Ben Crump and Al Sharpton is, pushing. Saying that, they wouldn't recommend her. Unfortunately, I'm looking for another medical provider. I don't feel Christine has my best interests at heart. I should be treated the same as patients that share her skin color. I don't feel like these are threats. I don't feel like this is nothing bad towards her. I truly just feel that this is something that's truly, it's something that Ben Crump and Al Sharpton led them to do. And yes, they're adults. Yes, they're their own people. But letting Ben Crump and Al Sharpton could probably, that was honestly the worst thing possible that they have done. You have right here, this is Nolan Wells' mother, Christine Wansley, opens about people targeting her career in an effort, to attack her. Me, again, I don't feel like this is more so an attack. But people can be mad at me for saying that. I feel like this is something that, obviously y'all have led people to do that. And one thing about it, you got Ben Crump, you got Al Sharpton. They have said this, said that, this, that, and the other. You got so many people saying it, saying this, saying that. They telling all, you shouldn't threat. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. They're telling people what they shouldn't do, but they're leading them to do it. They're leading others to do what, and I truly find it crazy that they're doing that. You got myself even, also you got so many people that will talk crazy, that send threats to my DMs, my messages, my emails, and I'm sure Officer Tatum, I'm sure, we talk about Sarah, I'm sure Rick, I can name a lot of people, Cartier family, that have so many people in their DMs and they comments saying this and saying that. But one thing that I'm gonna tell y'all is that you gotta be doing something right. Speaking facts on something. Check it out right here.
I wanted to jump around for just a moment and talk about how this is impacting you professionally, outside of just being a parent. Now everybody is on Yelp giving nurse reviews. I don't even know where this has come from.
It's
when you first saw it, what was going through your mind?
It's funny because, and this is what I mean by discernment.
Yes.
I have always been someone who was just very in tune, not just with myself, but people, situations. And that night before it hit the internet, we were in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, they're going to come for my career.
You said that.
I told them, I was like, they're going to come for my career. I don't know if it is going to be now, in a few weeks, in a few months. I said, but I am telling you, they are going to come for my career. And when I say they, I'm not talking about any specific group of people, just people who don't like the fact that we are just wanting answers.
Yes.
We're just wanting the truth.
Now let me tell y'all something about this. What I find, wild about this, what I find interesting about this is a simple fact that you truly have, and I wanted to play that first clip because then they go on and, they say something about cyberbullying. They say something about she receiving support from the Filipino community due to Nolan Wells being black and Filipino. And I said that. I knew it was mixed with something. I knew it. But I truly feel as if when I say Ben Crump and Al Sharpton has led a lot of this, again, when you're pointing fingers, when you're saying that this person did that, when there's no evidence, when there's no foul play, there's no this, how do you think that they possibly feel about things? The judges, the parents, these young men that was around Nolan. I mean, and I know they just lost a son, but I'm just saying, like, it's all around the board. There's a lot of things that could have been avoided leading up to this. And I'm not telling people, oh, yeah, be quiet about this. Nolan, we don't need to know anything about Nolan Wells. It's how they're doing it and what they're pushing it to be. And then you have Ben Crump that never cleans up the mess that he puts out. Never. Never at all. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm seeing too much of tours going on. I'm seeing too much of podcast and meeting with this politic and meeting with this person and meeting with this. I find a lot of it odd. I don't know about y'all, but I find a lot of it odd. I find a lot of, when it comes down to the money, the fame, and this, that, and the other, I find a lot of it odd to me. I truly do. Instead of actually finding out what has happened, if something did happen. That's the problem that I have. One thing about it, I definitely pray, that the world gets better. I pray that things get better. Especially when it comes down to race, when it comes down to a lot of these things, because it truly is sickening on what people push out to be. You got Hakeem J. Why is Hakeem here? Why is Hakeem here? And we already talked about Al Sharpton and Ben Crump. Why is Hakeem here? I'm telling y'all, it goes to show y'all a lot. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Catch y'all next one.